And before we begin tonight's Rantcast, I just wanted to bring you up to speed and myself and remind you and me that I'm heading out of here finally. I am leaving my public access space. I'm sorry we don't have, more of a natural background to push these things, but I'm coming your way and it'll be very nice out there. I'm hoping the sun shows up in Jacksonville on March 7th. I'll be at the Florida Theater on March 8th. At the Ruth Eckerd Hall, which is in Clearwater, Florida, March 11th. The Van Wezel Performing Arts Hall in where? Sarasota. March 13th, the Lyric Theater at Stewart, Florida. And March 14th, Fort Myers, Florida, at the Barbara B. Mann Performing Arts Hall. March 21st, that's right, yes, Toronto, Canada, at the Massey Hall there. And March 22nd, up to phenomenal Montreal. I probably mucked that pronunciation up, and I've lost part of my French audience, but so be it. Montreal, Les Olympia, and then April 29th. That's right. I'm returning to my alma mater to perform where I have on numerous occasions at Memorial Hall. That's the schedule. Look it up online because there's some other shows down the road late in August and in, I think, September and October. Check it out at lewisblack.com. I hope to see you out there. And this is all I can do to remind you, all right? I'd wear a sandwich board around your towns if I thought that would help. This could all go horribly wrong at any minute. Hello and welcome to the 212th edition of Lewis Black's Rantcast, entitled The Incomprehensibility of the Incomprehensible. Yep, that's right. And that's a really long title, and it just doesn't even begin to summarize what the hell has been going on. I gave it a really long title because it's going to be part one and part two. It's this week's, and then I'm going to have to keep going because last week I went into kind of what was happening to myself, and now I've fallen way behind in terms of what's happening out there. And it's too much. It is way, way too much, and it is way beyond. I mean, I could have called it a lot of other things. I could have called it the dumb of the dumbness. Yes, I could have. I could have called it the idiocy of the idiotic. I could have called it. There's so many possible titles, but I kind of landed on that one. It's just way too much. I am shrinking in front of myself. I am shrinking in front of you in terms of what is going on. It's making me shrink. Why? Because I'm not getting enough oxygen. You can't live in one person's reality and grow, okay? And that's what's happening as a country, all right? We are living in one person's reality of what's occurring out there, okay? And even though the rest are going, including myself, quack, quack, honk, honk, whatever, on a daily basis, we are being pounded as if we took a drug or something. We didn't even have the choice of taking the drug. All right? This is one person's idea of who our enemies are. Okay? Really? That's and they're his enemies. Okay? Not our enemies. All right? And even if you take the 30% who voted for him, there's 70% of us who know that they're other enemies. Don't tell me you can't have someone who's the president of this country, all right, and say that the fault of this war is really between Russia and Ukraine is the Ukraine. No, okay, it's not reality. All right, you basically are smothering us. We are being smothered. We can't even breathe in enough oxygen to grow. Look at me. I am shrinking. I'm wearing I'm a happy citizen, but I'm a happy person. But I'm a happy person. No, I'm not a happy person. No, okay? Maybe you are, and that's great. But they've even taken away happy. Look, we are, and I've got to be reading a lot of this stuff. Look at the pile of shit that is fucking on my desk that I'm going to have to go through just to get it out of my system so I can have 2 or 3 gulps of air. The constant nonsense, bullshit, and noise is creating an alternative reality, which is smothering. I repeat myself, smothering. All right? And enough is fucking enough. Well, it's been 30 days and he said he was, no one, okay? A lot of the stuff that was happening was not on the agenda, all right? Okay? We just have a guy, Kash Patel. He's picked to be the head of the FBI based on his extraordinary resume and his googly eyes. His eyes are crazy. Okay, but I'm not going to do anything to weaponize the FBI to go after enemies. No, we're just going to get rid of people in terms of the fact that they had thoughts, okay? Thoughts that are different from our thoughts. This is unreal in my lifetime. Unfucking real. The one thing we used to do was kind of wander off into the woods and bellow like lunatics at the trees, not at each other. All right? I am, seriously, well, Luce, you're not making any sense. I don't give a shit. Why should I have to make sense? We got a president who makes no sense, and everybody goes, oh, no, that was really wonderful. Got a whole group of people in Congress. That's really wonderful. Enough's fucking enough. Okay? My generation should be taken out to pasture at this point. Okay? Not enough adults in the room. How old do you have to be to see what's happening? Well, I don't care, Luce. The voices are bouncing around inside of my head. So in order for there to be enough oxygen for us, we have to have, in terms of the way I think we deal with others and our world, is empathy, which is gone. Our government doesn't seem to believe in it anymore. It seems to be off the table. What's an example of that, Luce? What are you talking about? Well, Elon Musk, okay, who is beyond belief, who doesn't realize that he's firing, slew after slew after people because the president has said it's okay for him to do this because they're saving some sort of money. They're also, how much money are they saving? We were told 8 billion, but it was only 8 million, and that was for something else. We don't even know what it's about. There's so much crap out there that is piling up that we can't even sift through it, partly because of the smell. Yeah, it's just beyond belief. Okay, so he is he's firing these people, just kind of going through it, and then, oh no, but we really should get back. These were nuclear workers, and we really should get them back. And then there were some problems with these folks over there, and we should get them back, but we don't know what the phone numbers are. It's just firing them. Okay, these people have lives, they've got children, they have families. How do I know this? It's pretty much a good guess. All right, maybe he's getting rid of all the people who are not having as many children as he has. Okay, maybe that's the way he's doing it. But the fact of the matter is that these are people who, until this election, depended on the fact that the job was going to keep going. But, that job is really costing us. Nah. All right? And no, they're not all in Washington, as I repeat from the Rantcast before the last Rantcast. They're not there. Okay? They're all around the country. Only 20% are in Washington. 80% of our federal workforce is out there. And they try to do the best job that they can. And nobody's sitting there, taking money under the table, okay? There's some stuff going on. Is there some corruption? Sure there is. But if you find the corruption, point out what it is, okay? And give us some proof. You find out what the fraud is, point it out. Give us some proof. Don't be going through everybody's records, all right? Whole fucking country up in arms. God damn it, they're keeping track of me. What am I going to do? And then you let this guy, who you don't even really know except that he's a billionaire, and created a car that you think's fun and a truck that looks like a psychotic had invented it. And that's fine. But he got a rocket that went up and down. So let him deal with the government. He doesn't give a shit about our government, okay? Except how his work is overseen. He doesn't understand how government works. Did anybody ever give him a civics class? Okay? So he passed a citizenship test, and that means he knows how our government works. Did he take even a week to look at it? No, he went crashing into goddamn fucking department after department after department. All right? We don't need those departments. Well, we do. Okay? You want to do it? It's fine. You want to find ways in which to trim the government? It is fine. But don't go through these people's lives and slice them and dice them as if they don't matter. Okay? Don't look at a country like the Ukraine, which is fucking basically fought in order to make sure the Russians were kind of kept at bay regarding their expansionism in Europe. But no, they were really only a fuck you. Okay? Okay, these people are allowed to defend their country. All right? And they lost a slice already. What is this madness? And I got to sit here and make a joke about it? There's no joke here, except that the emperor has no clothes and doesn't plan to put them on and is saying, yeah, that's it. I'm buck naked. What do you think? Huh? You're going to make fun of this? Because if you make fun of this, I'm going to take you to court. It defies description what's happening. I can't keep up with it. Kristi Noem picks her to be in charge of what the fuck else? In charge of in part in charge of our borders, all right? And so there's a temporary protective status. The country was Venezuela that it was given to, because why? These people are getting fucked. And so they march out of there through all of South America, up through Central America. Get to Mexico, they have to wander through Mexico. I'm keeping this as a part of my act now. So, and they get and then they get to America, boy, and they are really, and what are they? What does she call them? Dirtbags. That's right. The Venezuelans are dirtbags. That's the reason we have to take away their temporary protective status. Okay? What's the definition of a dirtbag? Huh? How does that affect anything? How is that? You got, they're doing this or they're doing that or they're doing, give me specifics. You can't just continue to spew nonsense and horse shit at us and that's acceptable. Okay? Empathy. These people fucking killed themselves to come here because we can't stop squawking about how great we are. And then they show up and we go, boy, oh boy. Boy, they're taking all our, then we're shipping them out to places, and this stuff is happening and we have no concept as to what it is. It's okay. It's the government. And the government has worked that way for years. Yep, I get it. Okay, and now you see it as working for an advantage for your side. Fuck you. Shouldn't have been an advantage for either side. You don't get to pull this shit. All right? And okay, maybe we learned from this that there has to be real transparency, but that ain't going to happen. All right? No. We're going to keep everything under aluminum foil so that the radiation doesn't hit us. God damn it. This is lunacy. Puts a picture of himself out there, the president of the United States with a crown on his head, declaring he's the king. I'm the king. No, you're not. You're a president who was elected by 30% of the American people. All right? Stop it. Act like a civilized fucking human being. Yeah, I only believe in states' rights or cities' rights if those are the rights that agree with my idea of rights. This is insanity. Okay? Do I think there should be congestion pricing? For my chest, yes. But for the city of New York, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't drive around here. Does it seem to be working? Who knows? There seem to be numbers that show that they are, but you never know. But one thing I do know is he doesn't get to determine what happens on my fucking block unless there's a giant goddamn fucking a dinosaur wandering down who got out of a lab somewhere, all right, and is coming to attack us, and then he could send in the army. It's going to stop our extraordinary thing after thing after thing, and I'm watching people that I've trusted to come up with real information, unable to come up with the information fast enough, and they can't. And some of them are saying, well, I heard this on that. All I know is this. It's pretty quick to cut to the chase. We're not being kind, all right? to ourselves or to anybody else. And it's disgusting. Because the one thing I realized in the course of my life, taught by my parents, okay, and learned in civics classes and from great teachers, and basically, Christianity, do unto others as you would have done unto yourselves, or whatever the fuck it is. All right? Just be nice. All right? Play nice. Act nice. Okay? Pretend you give a shit about the person who is standing next to you and breathing, no matter what their skin color. Like DEI, that's what they're worried about? Who gives a shit? Okay? Really, that we got to go in there. We got to stop that. We can't have them possibly talking about whatever it is they think they need to talk about. We can't have them, have a Black History Month at the Pentagon. Why? Huh? We can't honor the people that fucking went through hell and back in order to make this a better, more perfect union. Son of a bitch. Okay? It's madness. Madness. Yeah. Do we have to kind of make sure that everybody has the possibility? Yes, we do. Okay, I had to stop there for a sec. I was losing my mind, and also because I really want to get this right, okay? So just this past Friday, 6 Pentagon officials were fired, and that's including General Charles Q. Brown Jr., head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, a Black man who Pete Hegseth, or Hedgehog, as I like to refer to him, because really, how is he in charge of the Department of Defense? Because he was a commentator on Fox News and was really good on that. And everybody said, wow, he's so good at making it. It's like sometimes you take a sports commentator who'd been a football coach, and then he becomes a sports commentator, and then he goes back to being a football coach. That's one thing. To take the guy on Fox News who was commenting on the way he thought things should be done, and then make him the head. I have literally just a little less credibility as being able to head the Pentagon. I lived in Washington, D.C. for a long time. My father actually helped was involved in designing sea mines for years. Sea mines, defensive weapon for the Naval Ordnance Lab. I'm not sure if he worked for the Department of the Navy, but it was the Naval Ordnance Lab. So he was involved in making these weapons. So I could have put that on my resume, skipped all this stuff, and really just said, I really want to leave being, a performing comic and spend my retiring years in the Pentagon, getting things straightened out there by really, telling the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who Pete Hedgehog believed was a DEI hire. He had, I believe at one time, and I'm not sure, and I don't have the time to track this stuff down today. But that, he felt he was a DEI hire, that he had spent too much time focused on DEI. What they needed at the Pentagon was people who were involved in military strategies and stuff. And he was more involved in making sure that there was a diversity in the military. But not true that I can imagine the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff really worried about that. He considered him a diversity hire, but they believe at some point he felt that he was hired because he was Black. Then the head of the Navy, a woman, first woman I think who headed the Navy, the first woman on the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral, not admirable, but admirable too, Lisa Franchetti. She was fired. Possibly, do you think, because she was a woman? There don't seem to be any that I can read so far. Why? So one kind of then has forced to conclude that maybe she was considered as a diversity hire. There's a General James Slife, the vice chief of the Air Force, and they fired the top lawyers for the Army, Navy, and Air Force because also, I guess, they showed a concern for diversity in the military. But try to find people who actually want to be in the military now, which is becoming more and more difficult. And it is. Maybe they've kind of worked things out. Maybe with some of the newer commercials, people are just racing down to the recruiting offices. I don't know. But this is just beyond belief. It really is. And I sit here and I stare at it and I just go, I don't know. How do you make a joke out of this stuff? I don't know, but it is a joke. We are living in a giant satirical novel. Okay? And it began the day that he was brought into office, and it has been nothing but satire since. Okay? Nothing. There's an occasional moment of, yes, we should do that. And even at times, an occasional moment, boy, that would be a really good thing to do if we could only do it in moderation. Why? Because it's kind of what we're about. All right? It always has been. It always works in the middle. I keep repeating this. Nobody seems to listen. And it doesn't seem to help that it comes out of my mouth. So I'll be retiring and somebody else can try to tell people that they've got to be moderate while they're screaming and sounding like a psychotic. But it really is true. It took me a long time to realize that. And that's where things are decided. Okay? And that's where they have to be decided. And we are not there. You've got a guy out there with a chainsaw. All right? That's satire. All right? Guy cutting the government. Okay, he's doing some cutting here and there. He's got a chainsaw out and showing people what he's doing. And people are laughing because it's a satire. They're laughing in the thing. They're laughing at what he's doing because that's how great a satire it is. The people within the novel, and we're all in the novel now. We are in the novel or the movie. This is the next step, I think, after Dr. Strangelove. And if only Vonnegut and Carlin and Kubrick and a few of the other geniuses, Joseph Heller were around to kind of really write the frame around this and showed to satirize the satire we're living through would be extraordinary. It would be stunning. It would be a movie we don't have to watch it. We're living it. And I can't get over it. And I've said this time and again over the past few years that I have to be crazier than what I see. And I'm at a breaking point. I certainly am. This is madness on a level I never imagined. So I'm going to call an end to this extraordinary time we've had together in the incomprehensibility of the incomprehensible, part 1. And we've got some really great rants again. And the rants, I would like to thank all of you, are really getting better and better and better as things kind of settle. And remember, it doesn't have to be serious. Not like I'm spewing. If I'm even, you can consider this serious or just, psychosis that you're listening to. But I do hope you enjoy them. I was thrilled to be reading them. It is always a privilege and a pleasure to spend time with you and to read your rants and to get out there on the road. And I'll be honest, I've said it, I've been saying it, I really don't know what my act's going to be like now. No idea. I lost a chunk of it. There's some things I'm going to kind of bring back because I had to lay them by the wayside when I was doing the specials recently and all of the stuff that had come up. And now it's time to bring a few of those back, like, before we lose, uh, the all of the things important in terms of maintaining health in this country through Medicare, Medicaid, and the Affordable Care Act. I'll be talking about just how spectacular our basically our insurance system is, and the difference between us and another country that I've been sick in. Thank you again for allowing me to ramble in front of you in the quiet. Oh, look at that! You can see something over there. Well, that shouldn't have been there, but you can imagine what it was. It's over there, and that's all I got today, because I've got to get on with part two, and because all of this was together. I don't know if part two will be as long. We'll see. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, and thanks for all that you give me. Megan Luce lets it loose. Thank you, Megan. Hi, Louis. I've submitted a few of these now, and it's becoming a favorite pastime of mine to rant while waiting to get into therapy. Thank you for doing this. You are saving my sanity, probably along with everyone else that has a few brain cells left. This rant isn't directly related to the Super Bowl, but about the city that's taking place in. Yes, that's right. I live in New Orleans, and man, are we all so fucking thrilled to have more than 100,000 people enter into our city, get drunk, clog up traffic, and do whatever else people do to celebrate. I don't know. I'm a Bears fan. I haven't celebrated in a while. What people don't understand is how big of a fucking mess New Orleans is. You can guess or assume, but I bet anything y'all's guess doesn't come close. The only time projects get done is when something comes to our city. It literally takes the fucking Super Bowl to get our streets paved. Before that, it was Taylor Swift's concert. The city spent a whopping $21 million to light a fucking bridge so it could be pretty for the Swifties. It's not like our city could have used the money elsewhere. Fuck our homeless population and our broken streets and our complete lack of cops and resources. We needed fucking lights? Just take a peek at our news every day. Sometimes, between all the murder reports, you find headlines like, balloon causes power outage for thousands, or potholes so deep, man takes it into hot tub. No fucking joke, look it up. An afternoon of rain makes it flood throughout the entire city because our pumps are somehow always broken. Construction sites get anniversaries for how long they've been around. People put, please don't break my window again, nothing to steal in their car windows. Traffic climbs due to a building collapse once a fucking week. Constant boil water advisories flood our phones. Food deserts are in every corner. But don't worry, we are number one in two areas, okay? Number one in the nation for our violent crime rate, and number one worst place to raise a family in 2024. Isn't that a goddamn treat? It seems like the people of New Orleans aren't worth the work on our infrastructure, safety, and equity on our own. If the Super Bowl hadn't rolled through town, we'd still be getting robbed while trying to change a tire that a pothole blew out. When people see New Orleans as shown through the media for Super Bowl, don't be fooled. That is not the real New Orleans. We are so fucking tired. So please, to those who are visiting our city, we've been through enough. Enjoy the game, eat at all our amazing restaurants, spend your whole wallet on our treasures. Have a damn good time. But don't be assholes. And don't drink the water. Thank you, Louis. You're my spirit animal. Your New Orleans friend, Megan. When did you write this, Megan? Because I'm surprised you didn't mention that horrible incident that occurred because they didn't put up the posts to protect the street there. Protect that extraordinary crazed street that folks wander down. I've been down it a ton. Bourbon Street, I believe. It's interesting you didn't mention. Of course, you don't need to mention it. We remember it. But a lot to yell about. And you did a wonderful job, and thank you for sharing. Wow. And I am sorry. I mean, what's really amazing, just to close that loop, is that they got those posts up for the Super Bowl, didn't they? Mm-hmm. And then the policewoman who's in charge, I guess, said that, that it was from the planning that the NFL gave your town. Came from the NFL, not from your police department or the government, which just goes to back up what you were screaming about. Keep shouting. When something's pissing you off, let it rip. Let it rip, Megan. Jonathan Koziaw. Here's one for the books. Caps lock key. You're a dick. Fuck you, you ginormous waste of space and time. Every day you get in the way of productivity. Can't type a note or write an email without accidentally capitalizing my thoughts mid-sentence. I bet the reader of my writings thinks I sound like Luce Black half the time. Fuck that guy too. Seriously, who put the caps lock key right next to the A key? It should have been tucked in a corner somewhere between the home key and fuck off. How many people actually need the caps lock key? The shift key wasn't good enough for you fuckers? Here's an idea. If you need to type something in all caps, you should talk to the person face to face about the importance of your self-righteous bullshit. That's right. If your thoughts are so important that they are required to be capitalized, you're an asshole. The rest of us are just trying to get through the day without pissing someone off. Fuck you, caps lock key. If you work at the local keyboard factory and see me walking down the street, you should cross the road, because I've had enough of this case-sensitive commie bullshit. Blame it on the commies. That's great, Jonathan. And if you really are blaming it on the commies, wow, that does drive me a little nuts. I have to say, doesn't make me as crazy as it made you, but you're exactly right. It is like, what? They put all this time, energy into this thing, and can't put a small one over there, over to the right side, all right, in the corner somewhere. Or maybe just, you should write everything in caps, and that'll be kind of your calling card, Jonathan. From Andrew Diorio. When was it normalized to always be the bigger person? I.e., take shit from everyone and everything? I'm 43 and I know it happened before I was born, because my mother used to be a broken record with that particular phrase. I wasn't allowed to be angry growing up, but boy, my stepfather sure was. You betcha and how, because of that fact, I've always have this constant simmering anger hiding just below the surface. It seems that 99%, yes, 99% of human beings are oblivious, self-absorbed pieces of shit, and that I somehow attract them at work, on the road, and even at the grocery store, everywhere. However, if I get in their face or call them on their bullshit, then I'm the asshole. You're always given the same advice too. Don't let them get to you, or let it go. Why? Why do I have to do anything? Why can't they stop being a useless piece of shit, making my day worse? Many people will point to current events or politics, yada, yada, yada. But this shit has been going on for a long time, which again begs the question, when did this bullshit become normal? Sincerely. What a beautiful ending. Sincerely, Andrew. It certainly is sincere. Andrew Diorio. Wow. You don't worry about it. You're not the bigger person, and I can understand your anger. And it's amazing how they can all show up over and over and over again, Andrew. And good luck with that. Just make sure if you're going to blow your stack, make sure you can handle who's ever in front of you. Make sure they don't have crazy eyes. Okay. I'll worry about you, Andrew. Here's one. I asked for it, and I really appreciate this, Colonel Angus. Dear Mr. Lewis Black, recently you requested a tally of people who've been fucked over because of DEI. I take the point of your question insofar as I agree that a diverse workforce is healthy, should be fostered, and that no one who is qualified should be denied opportunity on the basis of race, gender, sexuality, religion, nationality, etc. I can say that as a queer white man, I have not lost jobs to any Afro, Latino, trans, autistic, blind dwarves. Where I do see a problem, which I wish the left would acknowledge is a legitimate issue, and what I wish the right would stop attempting to spray from their racist horseshit hose, is the individual flavor that each bureaucrat imparts upon the execution of their duties. Most bureaucrats are rational, fair, and civic-minded people who'll do their best to see that everyone has a fair shot. Some bureaucrats just look to check the box. This often results in interviews of people of color without ever truly intending to consider them for the position, a huge waste of time and resources. How do I know? It happens to my wife anytime she's in the job market. Then there are the bureaucrats who give DEI its bad name. They're the ones who hire people because of their protected status rather than because of their qualifications. That's the shit that makes minorities look bad and fuels the ignorant and hateful rhetoric of morons on the right. Once upon a time, I worked for a Native American tribe. Tribal law dictates that qualifications being equal, jobs will be rewarded to tribal members over non-tribal members. I was interviewing candidates for a highly technical position that was critical to the tribe's financial and cybersecurity. On one hand, I had a non-tribal member with advanced degrees and certifications who could explain network protocols like the back of his hand and was actually excited about the work. On the other, I had a tribal member from a different and, historically speaking, enemy tribe with multiple degrees, one general to the field of work, who lacked fundamental knowledge, was uncurious, and uninterested in anything not at a desk. He also expressed intention to go elsewhere in a year or so because he likes to move around. Which do you think I wanted on my team for the benefit of the tribe? Which one do you think the little snot-nosed punk in HR fought for? Because in his mind, DEI all means always hiring tribal, even if unqualified. There is a reason they are one of the poorest tribes in the region. I no longer work there, and their network is deep, deep down in the shitter at this point. Everyone lost. DEI should not be eliminated, but the problems inherent in any human-run system do exist, as they always do. It's the same reason why communism never works, why people think socialism sucks, and why capitalism is always fucked up. Human beings are pieces of shit, all of us. Pieces of shit. I don't have the answers any more than you do. No, you may not have the answers, but you gave it a shot. And I agree with a lot of what you had to say there, because that's really what it boils down to. Okay? It really is that. It really kind of, we've got to take the most qualified. And sometimes we really need to open up places where it just appears to be that one kind of homogenized look. You don't take someone, but like, then there's a door that opens there. It's that door that's swung open when it's the same thing. When the tribe is I'm going to hire people from the tribe, even though they're not the ones who should be hired. And we're going to be sure that those white people get a fair shake, because they don't. I really appreciate that, Colonel Angus, if you are a colonel. But maybe that's your name. I thank you for the time and the energy you put into this. And like the fact that it was so, you just kind of really weighing both sides, and then at the end realizing that Human beings are just pieces of shit. Thanks for sharing. Wow. It's like all of a sudden, I'm going to sit on this. Boom. Jay Mahew, thank you for this, because it's certainly off the beaten track. You'll see why Jay's pissed. He has every right to be. Damn it, you know what really blows? I just finished a 12-hour-long audiobook on Daniel Boone. That lucky bastard got to go on a 2-year-long deer hunting expedition. It was literally gone so long, his family thought he was dead. Meanwhile, I have to sit here at work and listen to hunting podcasts and wait an entire 8 months until bow season, which is only a month and a half long, and my dipshit family scheduled 2 fucking weddings during it. What absolute bullshit. So unfair. I would have ended with absolute bullshit. That so unfair takes it down a notch, Jay. But I've really enjoyed it. It's kind of like, I better calm down. Well, I hope you get some time out there in a bow. Wow. Deer hunting. I'm sure some people will be upset with you, Jay. I'm not particularly. Not at all. I know too many hunters. And I know around here, well, I won't even get into it. We have way too many deer wandering around. And all I see when I see a deer is what? Lyme disease. Richard Donnen. Here we go, Richard. Pleased to read this for you. Because of the day, I've given myself permission for a rare rant. Woke is actually defined as 1, the past tense of wake, 2, woke, the African-American English synonym for the American English word awake has since the 1930s or earlier most been used to refer to awareness of social and political issues affecting African Americans, often in the construction, stay woke. I'm utterly astounded at all the honkies, white folk, incorrectly bastardizing a term that is not theirs and has nothing to do with whitey society at all. It's just another red herring to provoke the mindless, blind followers of white people attempting to stir up a non-issue for their own personal profit. Hell, most of these people couldn't even spell Caucasian if their life depended on it. Stop all the fucking bullshit being used as a socio-narcissistic weapon / reason to do anything. As usual, these fools are preening like heads stuck in the sand ostriches without any feathers so they won't get caught in their own vapid ignorance and enormous stupidity. Wow. I could have listened to you go on about that for another 6 paragraphs, Richard. It's unbelievable, isn't it? You said what you had to say, and you said it well. Thank you. Thanks to all of you for listening to my Rantcast. If you have a rant you want to get off your chest, send it in to me at louisblack.com/live. You can think of it as therapy, or whatever you want to think of it as. Just let it rip. And I want to thank the true stars of our show, the ranters, and the splendid rants they gave us. Louis Black's Rantcast was created and hosted by me. Louis Black. Our live rant audio was produced by James Salter. Our theme song by Chris Lane. Executive producer, Ben Brewer. Executive producers, Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly.